What is good, YouTube? Quinway basketball analysis coming to y'all with that quick analysis while listening to analysis at the same time as making this video. We gonna talk about the Brooklyn Nets beating the Milwaukee Bucks in Game 1. This is a highly anticipated series. So many people wanted to see Giannis galloping Kumpo versus KD in their first playoff series ever. And the Nets was able to pick it up with Kyrie being aggressive, picking apart the defense, whether it was going one-on-one, getting layups, getting jumpers, getting threes, while also facilitating in the half court. Also in transition, Kevin Durant was unstoppable like he has been his entire career besides his rookie year, and he tore him up 29 points. Giannis was what he has been, got his 30, got his rebounds, attacked in transition, attacked in the half court. Still has to work on his perimeter shooting. They gave him a lot of space. They gave him a lot of chances to get a wide open shots, and they contested it as he was releasing it to give him a little bit to think, to throw him off a little bit. Giannis is not a confident shooter. He will shoot if you let him, but he's not there yet, and we know that. And Middleton struggled. Couldn't hit a jump shot to save his life. Kept shooting them, and it piled up more bricks. He has to find other ways to be efficient. Like I said about Devin Booker, you got to score more in the floor of the offense. You got to make sure you're picking shots, not just taking shots just because you feel like you can take them. Anybody can take a bunch of shots. You have to make the shot. That's what makes you a great player. That's what makes you efficient. That's what helps your team. Bricking hurts your team, especially if it's a jump shot because it's a lone rebound. If it's a lone rebound, that means there's transition on the other end. One thing I would say too, Drew Holiday, he missed a lot of easy ones, settled for a lot of jump shots too. I was kind of wondering what that happened because I seen it happen in the regular season, and it didn't fall. Some of them fell, some of them didn't. Drew Holiday got to figure that part out because the Nets are going to concede it. We rather you take a mid-ranger or a three than get to the basket or have somebody else take it. Bryn Forbes, I feel like he got a little trigger happy. He was taking a lot of crazy, wild threes, and some of them was contested. You want Bryn Forbes getting set, open threes, and he can shoot some difficult ones, but you don't want to see him just rushing and bombing them. And I feel like he did a lot of bombing, more bombing than actual shooting a good shot. And I think that what killed his day. Brook Lopez was big. He's the biggest guy on the court, basically, and I seen that. He's not really known as a great rebounder, never really been known for that in the NBA. He was able to get the boards, finish. He actually went hard. He actually finished when he tapped the ball in over smaller guys, and I think that that's what you would need from Brook Lopez, and they got that. It just the other guy just didn't play as well as they needed to give the Bucks enough, and that was a problem coming into this series. Like I told y'all, the Bucks sometimes they struggle to score. Years ago, they had this fast flowing motion offense, and it was really dependent on Giannis playmaking. It's less that because they have Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton doing handling, and sometimes Dante DiVincenzo, but he's injured. And now it seemed like they wanted to just space the floor with shooters, and those guys kept fouling and doing dumb fouls, to be honest. And even when they was open, they made them early. They just couldn't make them for the whole 48 minutes. And the Nets was able to knock down theirs, and they stars delivered. You know, Kyrie delivered, Kevin Durant delivered, and they was able to play off that. Blake Griffin was huge. You know, getting the rebounds, getting to the paint, hitting threes, just was all over the place. And that's what you need from Blake. You picked him up and you feel like he can still contribute. I liked it, the addition that they had, getting Blake Griffin to their team. And I felt like he can do all these things because he can just do it easier. He can score without being contested. You don't have to try too hard or do too much because a lot of it is playing off the other guys. So it comes more natural and in the flow. And that's what I wanted to see Middleton do. That's what I wanted to see Bryn Forbes and those guys do. But instead, they forced the issue a little bit too much. And when them shots didn't fall, it kept hurting them on the other end, like I said before. And the Nets was able to get a cushion. The Bucks were never able to make a run, and they was able to close it out. So one thing you will have to look at if you Mike Budenholzer is trying to get these guys better looks, making sure that they're sane. I feel like a lot of the things that they was doing was just out of control and just too excited. You got to settle down a little bit. You're going against a great team. You're going against the number 2 seed. So you're not just going against any other team. And you're going against a team that can really pile it up on you offensively. And that was the reason why I picked the Nets to win this series, because I just don't see the Bucks scoring enough points to be able to beat this Nets team. And that was with James Harden. Just imagine if they had Harden on the court, it would probably be even a bigger blowout. But the Bucks really have to just settle down. They just have to settle down and just keep the ball moving. When they do this isolation heavy, they don't have those type of players that the Nets have. That's the Nets' advantage. They can score everywhere on the court efficiently, even if it's a tough shot. The Bucks don't have those type of weapons. Giannis is not that guy. Holiday never really been that guy. Middleton can be that guy, but you don't want him doing that the entire game. And I feel like they got out of that mindset and just did it too much. And that was really the death of this game for them. The Nets, I like a lot of the things that they did. I still think they need a couple more guys to come back because it is only game one. Mike Budenholzer really hasn't been known for making adjustments, especially to their defensive schemes or sometimes even their offensive scheme. But that's going to be a problem because everything that they was doing was rushed, and you just can't do that in a playoff game. Because like I always try to tell you guys, every game does matter because now the Nets only have to win 3 games. They don't have to win 4 no more, and that puts more pressure as it boils because you get closer to elimination, and then you get too antsy, and we've seen that even with other playoff series this year and throughout the history of basketball. So Giannis, I like majority of what he did. Still be aggressive. Don't always settle for the jump shot, even if it's there, because that's what the Nets want you to do. And Chris Middleton just settled down a little bit. And Drew Holiday just got to pick his spots, win the probe, win the attack, and win to take the threes within the system. Don't just take them just because they give it to you, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to shoot the 3, and they want you to do that, and that's why Giannis fell into it a little bit too much too, and the Nets was able to capitalize off that. It's going to be tough for this team because I don't really see them being able to slow down their duo, but I feel like the series is more Bucks ready now. Now that Harden, we don't know how long he's going to be gone. Usually when you get a hamstring, it's going to be a couple games. And I think the Bucks should try to really try to trap and double Kyrie and Kevin Durant and let guys like Brown and Blake and Joe Harris do a little bit more. I feel like they forced Joe Harris off the line. They forced him to make passes or make layups or do tough decisions. And it was working. But then the Bucks just couldn't score enough points to continue to put pressure on the Nets. The Nets stayed true to who they were. They did exactly what they've been doing. And the Bucks did the complete opposite. They played into the hand of the Nets. And it was a good idea because the Nets was able to pick up the W. So it's a lot of things that the Bucks have to change. There's a lot of the things that the Bucks have to look at as a team and really just settle down and just play basketball instead of trying to force the issue. Sound easier than what it is, but that's what they're going to have to do if they want to tie this series. It's still early. I'm not going to over-exaggerate. I'm not going to get too excited. I'm not going to blow it out of proportion. We know how series can change. We know how one thing can change a series. So I feel like the Bucks are still in it. They still got a good shot. They still can, win a game in Brooklyn, and we can be talking about it totally different the next game. So I'm not going to really go crazy over this one. The Nets should be pretty excited about how this one went and how they was able to coast basically to a W. And I liked the fact that they did a little bit more defensively. I feel like they was going to have problems with the paint, and the Bucks attacked the paint, and the Bucks went at them, especially in the first 2 quarters. But then they started communicating, they started rotating, and the Bucks fell into the jump shots when they was attacking the paint early, and that really just balanced out because they couldn't make the jump shots, and the Nets was able to capitalize because of that. That's something that at the end of the day, the Bucks are going to have to figure out throughout this series. And as the Nets get guys back, it's going to be harder and harder possibly for the Bucks to win this series if this team can get back healthy. Winning one game and getting a little break for the next game, allows the Knicks to collect their guys back slowly, and it just makes it even tougher for the Bucks to win this, as I think the Nets are the better team coming into this series and all season when they made the Harden trade. And I like the additions that they made alongside this roster throughout the year, like the Browns and the Claxtons and the Griffins and things like that. And that showed today that they will have been difference makers. A lot of people didn't want them. A lot of people didn't care about them, but it was a big reason why they won this game, and that's a big reason why they in the number 2 spot, and that's a big reason why they was able to get past the Celtics outside of injuries. So the Bucks, they're healthy, they're ready to go, and they're going to have to play way better on both sides of the court if they want to take one in Brooklyn. But with no Harden, they have a better chance to do it. Now they actually have to get it done. A lot of people have been hyping up the Bucks. A lot of people really been wanting them to win, and they have to play better, play smarter, and be a little bit more patient. If they can do those things, they have a shot at still winning this series. Other than that, tell me what you like, what you dislike, what I got right, what I got wrong, what I overlooked, what I slept on. Who you think is going to win this series? Is it going to be the Nets? Do they need Harden? Do they not need Harden? Or will the Bucks eventually figure them out and win a series? Whatever you think, let me know in the comment section below. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis signing out. And I'll see y'all tomorrow with a reaction to the Clippers-Mavs game.